quick a quick statement. We still have another couple of hours of our hearings to go, and I need to get back. We started Tuesday. Tuesday and by we I mean the Judiciary Committee. Tuesday was devoted to opening statements by each senator on the committee and by Judge Kavanaugh. Wednesday, Judge Kavanaugh was sworn in, and we began asking him our first round of questions. Each senator was given 30 minutes. So obviously it was a long day, well into the evening. Yesterday, each senator was given a second round of questions. Each of us had 20 minutes. When we finished that, each senator was given a third round to ask questions of Judge Kavanaugh, between anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes, depending upon who yielded back time. We finished last night, 9:30 or 10. The procedure after that calls for Judge Kavanaugh to meet privately with all the senators on the Judiciary Committee. Everybody else is out of the room, where we are allowed to ask him questions about his FBI background check, including but not limited to his financial status. Today we have had we will at the end of the day have had 4 panels of outside witnesses, and by that I mean non-senators. The majority party, the Republicans, pick half the witnesses. The minority party picks the other half. And we're probably about 75% of the way through with those. We should finish up today, whatever time we finish. Next step, the Judiciary Committee will vote. Judge Kavanaugh's name will be brought up in Judiciary Committee next week. Any senator has the right to ask that the nominee's hearing, or vote rather, be held over for a week. I fully expect the Democrats to do that. So we will be voting in the committee week after next. I predict that Judge Kavanaugh will be reported favorably out of Judiciary Committee on a party line vote. His nomination will then go to the floor of the United States Senate at a time when Majority Leader McConnell brings his name up. Here's where I am. I take my job on judiciary seriously. My job is to make sure that no mistakes are made, particularly when you're dealing with a Supreme Court justice. This is a position that happens to be the most powerful unelected position in the most powerful country in the history of the world, in all of human history. So obviously the stakes are high, and there's no margin for error. We have, I think we spent 32 hours. I think Judge Kavanaugh has testified for 32 hours. It would have been long under any circumstances, but it was made longer by the fact that we have had over 200 interruptions from protesters in the audience, standing up, screaming things about Judge Kavanaugh or about us. And of course, they have to be removed by the police, and that takes a little time. Here's where I am. After a full week, I think I've gotten to know Judge Kavanaugh reasonably well. I had read before the hearing, I think, all of his law review articles. I had read, I'm probably 50% of the way through the 307 opinions that he has written. So I had a little bit of an impression about the man before I went into the hearing. But after the hearing, I'm going to vote happily and proudly to confirm him. There's no question in my mind that he has the intellect to be a as Supreme Court Justice. I mean, he's breathtakingly smart. He has, I don't know that I've seen anybody with a better command of the law. I don't think he missed a single Supreme Court opinion. I even asked him about a California Supreme Court opinion, and was prepared to tell him what the facts and the holding of the case was, because, I mean, it's a state court opinion. He knew the opinion. Number three, he has a very consistent, well thought out judicial philosophy. Now, I happen to agree with it. Some don't. But here's what Judge Kavanaugh believes. He believes that the role of a federal judge is to tell us what the law is, not what the law ought to be. In other words, he sees the judiciary, as I do, as an umpire calling the balls and the strikes in terms of the law. The law is made by the Congress. It's executed by the president, and the role of the judiciary is to tell us what the law is when there's a dispute. Now, that doesn't mean that federal judges don't have discretion. Of course they do. It doesn't mean that they're a bunch of robots that we can replace them with software based on artificial intelligence. But the role of a judge, I'm convinced, as set forth in our Constitution, is not to try to rewrite the Constitution every other Thursday to advance a political agenda that ought to be decided by the voters. The other role of a federal judge, in my opinion, and I think Judge Kavanaugh would agree with this because I asked him the question in committee, we have inalienable rights as Americans. They're listed in our Bill of Rights and in other places in the United States Constitution. Those are our rights no matter what. Even if the majority of the people in America, represented by government through representative democracy, want to take those rights away from us, government and the majority can't. And our founders set that up intentionally. Doesn't matter what government or the majority says about freedom of speech. We have it, even if the majority doesn't want us to have it. And of course, you can go down the list of the Bill of Rights. And the Bill of Rights is not an a la carte menu. Every one of those rights is ours, individually as Americans. And the majority can't take them away, because our founders understood that while we do live in a representative democracy where the majority controls, when it comes to our inalienable rights that government can't take away, the majority doesn't control. Because sometimes, not always, but sometimes, the majority just means that all the fools are on the same side. That's why we have these rights. I'm convinced that Judge Kavanaugh agrees with that. In fact, I think I just described his judicial philosophy. I'll happily vote for him. I'm very impressed with him. I also want to mention something about his demeanor. I think many of us know federal judges. The vast majority of the federal judges I know are fine people. I do know some federal judges, while fine people, some of them have big egos, and they can, I think the way I put it in committee, some federal judges can strut sitting down. And I don't like that. I think it's very important for a judge to demonstrate humility and the right judicial temperament. And clearly, if you watched any of the hearings, you know that Judge Kavanaugh has that characteristic. I think we'll get all Republican votes let me try that again, I'm sorry. I think that every Republican will vote for Judge Kavanaugh. I can't guarantee it, but based on my discussions with my Republican colleagues, I think all Republicans will vote for him. I predict we'll get at least 2 Democratic votes, and we may get 3, 4, or 5. And that's kind of where we are.